What's up, y'all? It's Lance again. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching. Co-founder of BH Capital Enterprises, also longtime Abacus member, team leader for Team Mamba. If you have any questions about the Abacus Group, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll leave my contact information in the description box down below the video. But just to give you guys a summary of last week's activity in the markets. So I had a pretty decent week overall with trading. I had probably what would have been my best trade was Roku, but I sold it way too early. I got in Roku calls like Monday or Tuesday, and my initial intention was to swing trade it. So I wasn't intending to day trade. I was going to keep it for multiple days, basically, instead of buying and selling on the same day. So I bought Roku calls. And calls means I was anticipating an upward move in the share price for Roku. But I got into Roku in the mid 130s level, so somewhere between 135 and like 137. I jumped on Roku calls, and I ended up selling when Roku hit about 140, low 140s that same day, and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna take my profit and move on. So even looking at the daily chart, it was bullish. The intraday chart was bullish. The news flow was bullish, but fear got me, and made me question what my original plan was and whether it would work out in my favor. So fear kind of whispered in my ear, hey girl, you better go and take them profits right now because you might not have them later. It might turn into a loss. So I took it and ran. Anybody who trades or follows the market knows Roku went bananas last week. So by the time Friday rolled around, Roku had hit low 160s. So those 140 calls that I paid like 170 something dollars for were worth nearly $2,000 by the end of the week. So 100 and some dollars to $2,000 in just a few days. Man, fear is a mother, I tell you. So that was that would have been probably trade of the week, really. I had a few losers, but I managed to not let them get out of control. So cut my losses short before they got crazy. But one thing that I do is I manage my position sizing, so I'm not as concerned with the loss. So if let's say I have a $10,000 account, and I take a position, and this may sound crazy, but people do it. I take a position for $3,000. So 30% of my total account value is in one position. I'm going to be very skittish, very worried about my losses. And if I lose $3,000, I mean, I still have $7,000, but 30% of my account is wiped out with just one trade. So what I tend to do, with using that same 10K account value example is instead of taking a $3,000 trade, I might take, $500 trade, right? So much less, less than 10% of my account value. And, at the end of the day, if I lose $500 out of 10K, I still got a lot of money left to trade with. So I'm not as concerned with a loss in that area. So That's one way that you can limit your losses is by playing smaller. Um, but I understand that a lot of us want those big wins quick, and that can really get you caught up. So I'm trying not to do that, get caught up like that because, of course, I've made those mistakes in the past where I'd have a $2,000 account and I'm trading positions that that are $1,000 or more. As long as it's less than 2,000, I'm good. And that I've blown up quite a few accounts doing that. Just not managing my position sizing. So um, that's something that I'm really focusing on now and moving forward. Uh, what else can I say? Google last week was ended up being the trade of the week. Friday, Google went crazy. Um, Only thing is, I wish that I would have bought more contracts in Google. But so when during pre-market, so before the markets open, I take a look at my watch list. I look at charts. I watch to see, what setups I like, what setups may have some potential. Um, Friday morning, looked at Google, and I said, okay, I'm really liking Google's setup. And in my mind, I said, I think Google's going to get 1320 today. It was already, how much was it pre-market? When I looked, first time I looked pre-market, Google was around 1310, 1312. So not very far from 1320. Um, but then some kind of news catalyst dropped and Google jumped up to 1318. So a little bit of fear set in, and I was like, it's already less than 2 points off of my target price. So my trade is potentially messed up. Now, remember, I haven't placed a trade or anything yet. Markets haven't even opened. I'm just evaluating, going through my plan, my strategy. Um, so I checked the options chain to see, what strike prices look promising to me. And I said, okay, well, if Google is close to 1320 now, um, chances are that premium is going to be a little bit more than I want to pay. So I'm going to look at maybe the 1322 fives or the 1325s. I felt like 1325 was a little bit too far out for me, for my emotional management. So I chose 1322 fives. And they were 170 something dollars, something like that. Um, so markets open, bells went off, and Google dipped. Matter of fact, it dipped as low as like 1311 shortly after the open. And that made me a little nervous, but I just kind of adjusted my plan and I said, okay, if Google gets to this level, then that's when I'm going to buy my calls, and I'm going to watch for it to hit 1320. Google dipped to 1311, made it back quickly to 1315, and the chart setup was still golden. So I said, boom, I'm gonna jump on it. So I jumped on the 1322 5 calls, um, and Google just started running, and it was just running. Hit 1320. I reevaluated my position, my charts, and I said, okay, I like the way it's still looking, so I'm gonna stick with it. Stick with it some more. Looked like it had more room to run, so I stayed in it. And I run a workshop where I teach other Black people how to read charts. So I got a little distracted for a few minutes with answering questions, interacting with my clients, and I look back at Google and it's at 1325. So I'm like, man, I'm 2.5 points in the money now. So my position is looking great, chart still looking great, and I'm like, chance this thing just might get to 1330. So I stuck with it, and not wasn't very long before Google hit 1330, pushed up to first time like 13.31, 32, and it retraced a little bit back to like 13.29 or something like that. And that's when I sold the position. So I bought it for uh, 1.7 and some change, something like that. And I ended up selling it for 7.2. So pretty significant gains on that position. There's quite a bit of volatility in the markets that day, that morning, so it worked in my favor. Um, the important thing is that I didn't allow fear to completely grip me and keep me from making the trade. Uh, Fear did play a little bit of a part in my not taking a bigger position. Um, but at the end of the day, I did, make a pretty big gain with just one contract. So one contract, if I would, if it would have went to zero, it wouldn't have been a big loss. But the fact that it didn't go to zero turned into a big gain for me. So I'm pretty satisfied with how that turned out. So Google really came through for me. It made up for the losses that I incurred over the week. So I was ended the week on a good note. A little bit of momentum into this week we're currently in, and that's about it. Just trying to continue to work with fear and make fear uh, my friendly companion instead of my bossy overseer or something or whatever. So just trying to grow as a person and make become a better trader in the process of doing so. So just happy to share this journey with y'all. Sending y'all well wishes for anybody who's going through some of the same things when it comes to fear in trading. Just keep at it. One of my comrades said, we're still here. So that's something to definitely be proud of. The fact that we haven't given up. We just keep at it. Learn all we can to make the necessary adjustments moving forward. So I will see y'all again with another update. Hopefully, by a week's in. Um, my weekend's gonna be pretty busy because it's my birthday coming up. So um, probably be a lot of stuff going on. But I'll definitely try still to make a video and just let y'all know how the week went. And it's not going to be just about trades. It'll be more about, how I managed my emotions, how I managed fear. Because a prevailing thought in the trading world is that you leave emotions out of it. But anybody who studies psychology or knows a little bit about psychology knows that that is completely impossible because emotions are the driver of everything. They're the driver of our logic, of our thought process, of everything. So the best that you can do is learn to manage your emotions so that you're not being driven by fear. And excuse me, and anything that stems from fear. So um, don't deny those darker parts of yourself that don't identify with who you or how you present yourself to the world or who you present yourself to be to the world. Because those things will manifest in your trading life and in other areas of your life as well, but specifically trading. Trading will expose you for the fearful individual that you may be. So thanks for watching, y'all. Hopefully y'all can, send me some well wishes in my spiritual journey, my personal development journey, my trader journey, just my journey to being free and seeing, learning who I can be and learning about, who I am. But y'all have a great evening.